Hey, Donny Walker. Who else, eh? Could also be on my YouTube channel. Maybe Buckin or son, or who knows? Maybe my daughter. But it's me, Donny Walker. How's it going out there? I just came home a little early today. I fixed a couple Wajax pumps this morning and a couple saws, and got something in my eye. I was going up to port a bunch of cylinders this afternoon. Then figured out my compressor was having a leak down in the pressure gauge where you control the poundage of pressure in the compressor. So I went and grabbed a new little pressure regulator valve from Midland Tools and got that fixed. Got back there and god darn it, my eye was itching like crazy and irritated, so I thought I better go check it out. So I came home and looked in the mirror, and I had a little tiny chunk of metal right in my eye. I could see it's starting to rust too, so it was obviously not stainless steel, right? So I Q-tipped it out and then put some drops in it. It's a little bit red right now, but obviously I'm wearing the sunglasses so you can't see that, so I'm okay now. So yeah, I wanted to talk a bit about the autotune 592s. So this one come in from a fella up in the Kootenays area of BC, and the way the wires are molded in and set into the crankcase, and the starter goes on and the air conductor, it holds the wires in place. But from the factory, there's been a few that have been misaligned. So this fella only had 8 hours on this saw, and the wires somehow got caught in the flywheel and got all ripped up. So it wrecked the ignition module, sending signal to the autotune microprocessor on it. So I was like, okay, well, I ordered what we call a coil, or whatever you want to call it these days, an ignition module, and put it on, reset the saw on the not the common service tool, but the new service hub, Husqvarna service hub it's called now, not the common service tool. So I did all that, and I put in there that I changed the ignition, because you do that if you put a different part on it. Not like the old CST, the common service tool, where you would pick the carburetor, pick the ignition, and pick the saw. The new program and the new firmware will recognize it all right away and input it itself, which is cool. So I've been back and forth with a friend of mine at the factory on this problem with this one. When I changed all that and reset it, I went out and try to do the idle thing for a while, then the reset it cutting after I even did a master reset, but it still ran crappy. It was like flooding out. It was like the needle was leaking in the carburetor, and we all know what that's like on an old school saw without electronics. The needle's leaking, it's gonna flood, it's terrible. So I tried everything, reset it again, tried it again, it still did the same thing. So now I'm like emailing back and forth to a friend of mine, Johan Magnuson, at the factory, and he says, "Oh yeah, do the reset again and go out and make some cuts." So I couldn't even do that. The thing ran so crappy I could barely cut with it. So you got to think mechanical, not just digital or electronic, right? You know me, I'm not a real electronic or digital dude. I'm old school, but I'm trying to really learn all this stuff and soak it in, right? To help out, our shop and other people with it. I get other dealers that call me across Canada, North America, Donny, well, how do you do this? What's going on, man? You know, because they don't have much support either. So I try to help them out, because some people in some areas don't even have connection to the Husqvarna people to help them out, right? Yeah. So unless you call in, if you're a dealer, call into the service guys, and they're quite helpful, man. I got to admit. A couple guys a few years ago really just go by the book, but there's other guys that are on there now that I call into that are quite helpful, and they do their best. They're not real old school mechanics either, but they just know the stuff, right? They got taught what they can from Husqvarna. So anyways, my thought was just change the carburetor, man. The thing, pressure test the carburetor, no, it doesn't leak down, so the needle's not leaking. So what it is I say it is the microprocessor. That little valve in there is stuck somehow, probably from those wires fraying out and shorting out. It's changed that microprocessor. Changed the carburetor, reset it, master reset it, and did all that on the computer. Went out and just let it idle. It actually idled now, so I knew that was a good thing. So I let it idle 10 minutes, shut it off, brought it back into the shop, put a bar and chain on it, went out to the lot there and made some cuts with it, and it was just as good as it was from the factory. No problem. So any dealers out there or people buying these saws, take your starters off, make sure those wires are routed right. In the factory, I guess, someone made a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes in life. Somehow didn't fit that little pusher plastic thing with the wires down into the channel properly. So that's the problem. And my friend at the factory kind of knew about it. He, there's not a service bulletin out about it. But when I explained it to him, he goes, "Oh yeah, I've seen that a couple times." I'm like, "Oh crap!" And unfortunately, this poor guy, that's a customer of mine, that I just fixed this one today, he's got another one that did the same thing. I'm like, "Well, that's weird. Maybe it was the same person on the production line." Whatever, just being funny. So, anyways, that's what happened. If you can buy the autotune microprocessor separate, there's probably nothing wrong with that carburetor. It's the microprocessor itself. That valve in there is stuck somehow, just pumping fuel through it. So whatever, I'm going to send it back to the factory, to the R&D department, and let them have a look at it. And obviously they'll just probably change that thing or figure it out. But that's kind of a bummer. But do remember, on Husqvarna saws, any pro saws or any of the commercial or consumer ones, they are lifetime guaranteed on the ignitions. And this one really didn't fail. It only failed because the wires weren't routed right, and they caught up, and then it failed. And that messed up the carburetor too. So that, it's under warranty. It'll be paid for by Husqvarna. They will help the customer out. I've already done it, and they are very good with warranty, and they have great warranty now on Husqvarna Pro saws. They really take care of the customers, Husqvarna. I'm not really bad mouthing still, because I hadn't said anything yet, but I do not get much help from Still on stuff. They never really been around with engineers or anything to ask how things are going or any input of stuff, only because we've probably been a Still dealer only for, I don't know, 6-7 years, maybe a little bit longer. But I'm quite tight with Husqvarna. I have some good friends in Sweden, and I love the country, and they're just a great product. Like the 592, sure, it has a couple quirks right now, but I'm telling you, it's the most powerfulest big saw on the market right now. It's so smooth on your hands. It gets 40 minutes on a tank of fuel versus the 500i Still. I love the 500i though, don't get me wrong. Everyone's got their thing, eh? And then it's just a nice fit when you're falling with it. The falling sights are nice. The comfort of the saw is nice. Having the full wrap handlebars. It's just a nice saw. I really like it. Sure, the rev limiter system with the autotune. It'd be nicer to have it a little higher, maybe in RPM, and maybe come on a little softer. Because when it does come on, when you're limbing and stuff, it like, bop, 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 bop. And I believe that's a lot to do with sends vibration, and that's why a lot of the reason I believe the top cover is wearing on the crankcase a lot, and then your clips come loose after a certain amount of time. But we had that also happening on 570s, 575s, and 576s. Those first models of the EPA stratified version saws were weird too. They were the top covers wore really weird on the crankcase, and they had a lot of crankcases cracking around the back corner on the clutch side between the carburetor and the clutch. Smooth, good power. They were great saws, but they just had those problems, and we gave up running them with big bars. With small bars, they might have stood up great, but you know, here in the Pacific Northwest, we use 32 to 36 inch bars all the time. You can get away with running a shorter one, probably if you're a smaller wood, but you know, the guy's just already got the setup, he just deals with it, right? So that's my situation with that 592 auto-tune. It worked out. It was process of elimination, and I'm lucky now. I have direct contact with the product manager of that model and the 585, and I'm going to keep in touch a lot more with them. So if anyone out there has any issues, you can message me on here, and I'll try to help you out, okay, as best I can. And if not, go to your local dealer and see if they have any information. And if they don't, get them to call me, man. I'll help them out. I don't work for Husqvarna, but I'll try to help you out with it, okay? Because you know what? We all want your saw to be good, and you got to keep her in the wood, right? So Shelly just got home. I got some chicken thawed out in the house there. I put some blackened seasoning on it. I was going to actually cook blackened chicken fettuccine tonight, Alfredo. But I'm going to actually barbecue them and have some chicken burgers, some homemade fries, and some salad, and hang out. So, Shelly, you're home? Shelly? Come here. Come here for a sec.
What?
Come here, say hi to everyone.
Everyone?
Come here.
The dog.
He's fine, he's out there in the weeds. Here.
Pussy!
Come. Oh, he's asking for the dog. Here.
What?
Come and say hi to everyone on YouTube.
Hi, everyone.
She's shy on camera. Oh, here goes Fozzie.
There's my buddy with
Here
the
goes
dirty-
Fozzie. Let's look at
you're in the
Fozzie.
mud.
Here, give him
You're
here.
in the mud.
Give him here.
Looks
There's
like
the
a muddy-
Fozzmeister.
Careful. He's got muddy.
Ah, he's all muddy. God.
That's why I had it closed off there.
Crappy. Okay. Well, everyone, keep her saw in the wood, sticking nice, rubbing her out. Check out the walkersawshop.com online store. Have a great week. It's Thursday. TGIF tomorrow. See y'all soon. Thanks for watching my channel. Bye.